Hare
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Darshya Jnana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Namah Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Krishna Sabitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Sadanti Swapadantika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajana Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvekam Svavadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Bando Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanushrute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhayeva cha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Ashwin, for the wonderful Mangla Charan recital. Would you like to read the text today, Shashwin?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Tastaprayesva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavatim Naishiki Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Prani Hite Male Apasyat Purusam Purnam Mayam Chatat Apashrayam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Shashwin. A wonderful Mangla Charan recital and the Shloka recital. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Sorry, Sashwin, I missed your transcendental sound vibration today. Hope everyone is well.
Yes, Prabhuji, we all are very well. And we've done the Manglacharan. Prabhuji, how are you? Hope you are well as well.
Yes, I'm good. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
So we've done the Manglacharan and we've just read the text 4, Prabhuji.
Okay.
The
So you read the
purpose
Sanskrit?
today no, we haven't. We've just read the text 4. We haven't done word to word. We read the Sanskrit
Okay. So you read the
shloka.
Sanskrit. Okay. So shall I read the translation in purple?
Yes, Prabhuji. It's a long purport. If you want help, we can help you as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So shall I read the translation and then maybe you can share the purple reading with some other
Yes, yes.
devotees? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Okay, so translation by Srila Prabhupada. Thus he fixed his mind, perfectly engaging it by linking it in devotional service, bhakti yoga, without any tinge of materialism. And thus he saw the absolute personality of Godhead, along with his external energy, which was under full control.
Hare Krishna. Would anybody like to read the purport?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read a bit if that's okay.
Yes, yes, Mataji, and you can stop in the middle whenever you want, and I'll continue from there.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, can you hear me properly?
I
Yes,
think we can. I think someone is, yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, thank you, Mati. Go for it.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Perfect vision of the absolute truth is possible only by the linking process of devotional service. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. One can perfectly realize the absolute truth personality of Godhead only by the process of devotional service, and one can enter into the kingdom of God by such perfect knowledge. Imperfect realization of the absolute by the partial approach of the impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma does not permit anyone to enter into the kingdom of God. Sri Narada advised Srila Vyasadeva to become absorbed in transcendental meditation on the personality of Godhead and his activities. Srila Vyasadeva did not take notice of the effulgence of Brahman because that is not absolute vision. The absolute vision is the personality of Godhead, as it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. In the Upanishads, also it is confirmed that Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, is covered by the golden glowing Hiranmayana Patrena veil of impersonal Brahman. And when that curtain is removed by the mercy of the Lord, the real face of the Absolute is seen. The Absolute is mentioned here as the Purusha or person. The absolute personality of Godhead is mentioned in so many Vedic literatures, and in the Bhagavad Gita, the Purusha is confirmed as the eternal and original person. The absolute personality of Godhead is the perfect person. Mataji, do you want to continue or do you want me to shall I continue? Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality, the Supreme Person has manifold energies, out of which the internal, external, and the marginal energies are specifically important. The energy mentioned here is the external energy, as will be cleared from the statements of her activities. The internal energy is there along with the absolute person, as the moonlight is there with the moon. The external energy is compared to darkness because it keeps the living entities in the darkness of ignorance. The word apashrayam suggests that this energy of the Lord is under full control. The internal potency of the superior energy is also called Maya, but it is spiritual Maya, or energy exhibited in absolute realm. When one is under the shelter of this internal potency, the darkness of material ignorance is at once dissipated, and even those who are Atmaram, or fixed in trance, take shelter of this Maya, or internal energy. Devotional service, or Bhakti Yoga, is the function of the internal energy. Thus, there is no place for the inferior energy or material energy, just as there is no place for darkness in the effulgence of spiritual light. Such internal energy is even superior to the spiritual bliss attainable in the conception of impersonal Brahman. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that the impersonal Brahman effulgence is also an emanation from the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The Param Purusha cannot be anyone except Sri Krishna himself, as will be explained in the later shlokas. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Panchali Mataji and Kirtika Mataji, for reading the purport so nicely. So we're here in the 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's called the son of Drona punished, because as in the later text, we will hear about how Ashwatthama killed the sons of the Pandavas and how he was punished by Krishna and Arjuna. At the moment, we are reading the beginning of the chapter, and what's happened is Shonaka Rishi asked Sutta Goswami. So what happened? So Narada Muni, in the previous chapter, he was instructing Vyasadeva, and once he finished his instruction to Vyasadeva, Narada Muni went back to his traveling. He went back up to do his spiritual traveling, his preaching, and then they asked, so what did Vyasadeva do? The rishis asked they asked Sutta Goswami, so what did Vyasadeva do after? And it's described here that Vyasadeva was fixed his mind in meditation. So just read the translation again. Thus he fixed his mind, perfectly engaging it by linking it in devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, without any tinge of materialism. And thus he saw the absolute personality of Godhead, along with his external energy, which was under full control. So we're seeing here that Vyasadeva, when he was engaging his mind in devotional service, when he's engaging his mind in Bhakti Yoga, connecting with the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, Krishna made it very clear what Vyasadeva has to do. Because it says here, he saw the absolute personality of Godhead along with his external energy. So it's like Vyasadeva has seen Krishna, but along with Krishna, he sees Maya. So he's seeing Krishna, but along with Krishna, he's seeing Maya. So what is the significance of Vyasadeva seeing Maya? The significance of Vyasadeva seeing Maya is that his service is to help the devotees go beyond Maya and go to the personality of God, who he's also seeing. He was seeing Krishna and Maya. So this is the plight of a devotee who's in Krishna consciousness. This is our life. We are on one hand seeing Krishna, and on one hand we're seeing Maya. And sometimes we're choosing Krishna, and sometimes we're choosing Maya. And this is day to day, pretty much minute to minute, second by second. Our consciousness is either towards Krishna or towards Maya. And it's like this, it's a roller coaster every day, isn't it? The day is like this. There's bursts of enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness. and there's bursts of enthusiasm for the material energy. So Vyasadeva is seeing both. But what's very important here is apashrayam. Apashrayam means that this is under full control. Apashrayam. So the material energy, the external energy, Maya, is under full control of Krishna. Devi hi esha gunamai mama maya duratya mam evaya prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. That this material energy is very difficult to overcome, but one who has surrendered unto me, mayam etam tarantite, can easily cross beyond it. So Krishna is explaining this to Arjuna also in the 7th chapter, 7:14 in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is the thing that we are day to day struggling, thinking, how can we become a devotee? How can we get serious in our spiritual life? And getting serious in our spiritual life means understanding that the external energy is constantly under the control of Krishna, which means that when we are getting tested by the Lord through the material energy, because the material external energy is under the full control of the Lord, that means that we will never get a test that we cannot handle. Krishna will never send us anything we cannot handle because he loves us. His tests are coming to us out of love. He loves us. It's quite something when someone loves you. We are often so paranoid that no one loves us. We are often thinking, I'm serving my husband or wife so nicely. I'm serving my children so nicely. I'm serving my parents so nicely. Do they appreciate me? Do they love me? Do they acknowledge what service I'm doing for them? We don't have to be paranoid when it comes to Krishna, because Krishna sees the heart of the Vaishnava. Krishna sees the heart of everyone, especially the devotees. Krishna sees that inside we are either in it for ourselves or we're in it for him. But the more we are in it for him, the more we are linking through bhakti yoga, the more we are linking to Krishna through devotional service, not just service, devotional service, service with devotion, with heartfelt longing to please the Lord. Then to that degree, Krishna reveals himself to us. So Krishna is revealing himself to us through this process of sadhana bhakti. We are every day waking up in the morning to chant Hare Krishna. Every day we are offering some puja. Every day we are reading. Every day we are trying to hear something. Every day we're trying to associate with the devotees. We're trying to offer some service. We are constantly at it. We are constantly at it. Why are we at it? Why? We're at it because we have got a little taste. We've got a little taste. And we're understanding, we're at this point, we've come to the point where we're understanding material energy, this external energy, the material energy of the Lord, which is under the control of Krishna. But whilst I'm surrendering to the external energy to that degree, I am not happy. I'm not happy. We've tried it. We've been there. We've bought the t-shirt. We've exhausted all possibilities of finding happiness through the material energy. But somehow or the other, we just couldn't get it to work for us. We just couldn't get to the point where, yes, I'm satisfied. You know, we sometimes think I need to spend some more time building relations with this family member. My Krishna consciousness can wait. Or sometimes we're thinking I need to just spend some time working really hard at my job and my Krishna consciousness can wait. Sometimes we're thinking I need to spend some time learning a new skill and my Krishna consciousness can wait. All of this is called Maya. All of this is called Maya. Because what Maya does, when Maya cannot attack us in a gross way, And how? Because after some time we understand no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating. So once we overcome that, which may take some time, and once we understand Srila Prabhupada said to chant 16 rounds every day, we come to that point. Again, that might take some time, but we get there. And then when we get there, we need to be tested more. So how will Maya test us? Maya will test us through subtle ways, through subtle means. And these subtle means are very, very intricate, and it's very personal. It all depends on what will affect us. And these personal ways of testing us is Krishna's way of helping us grow out of our inner conditionings. And we see it, and we bring so much baggage. Even if we're born into the movement, we bring baggage into our life. Even if we're born into the movement, what to speak of coming into Krishna consciousness when we became adults? How much baggage we bring in, and that's only from this life. Who knows from the millions of lifetimes before what baggage we're bringing? But the baggage we're just bringing into our day-to-day devotional life, it's different for everyone. But the baggage we are bringing into our Krishna consciousness, the baggage we're bringing into our Vaishnava Sangha, the baggage we're bringing into our Vaishnav Seva, all this baggage, mental baggage, is all going to be tested. It's all going to be tested. Whatever insecurity we have, whether we have an insecurity about friendship, whether we have an insecurity about someone stealing something from me, whether we have some insecurity of envy, whatever it is, if we have anything where we are not feeling secure, that will lead to fear. And when we live a life in fear, that means we are letting the external energy, we are letting Maya become prominent. Because Maya works with fear very well. It's very easy for Maya to work with fear. The whole of society is controlled because of fear. So what happens? The media will say some things in the news, and through whatever they say in the news, this will bring fear into the common people. And through the common people's fear, what happens? Then everyone needs some shelter. So what people will do to go to shelter is seek the help of those in control, those in power. And those in power can control us because we are in fear. It's so easy. It's so easy to control people when they are scared, when they have fear. So this is the way Maya works. So Maya ultimately knows we are all fearful of death. We're all scared of death. And because we're scared of death, most people will try and forget that death is going to happen. So we go for some intoxication. We go to the pub, we drink, we go and take some drugs, or we do some other things, like we try and secure really good business deals, make lots of money, so that we think, okay, at least I've got money, I'll find security in that money. Because if I've got security, then I can get a nicer place. If I've got security, I can get more things. And through this, we become more and more absorbed in the material energy. And this is the business of Maya. This is the business of the external energy. The business of the external energy is to test us. Maya's job is to test us. And if we don't pass a test, then the test will come again. And when we don't pass the test will come again. And if we don't pass the test, guess what? The test will come again. It will be packaged slightly differently. Different human beings will be behind it. Different place, a different backdrop. Things can be slightly different, but the test is just the same test. And you even know it. After a while, if you introspect, you're like, oh my God, it's the same thing. I tried to go to Australia. but I've got the same test. I tried to go to Eldoret, I tried to go to London, I tried to go to Bombay, I went to Sydney, but the test followed me. Why? Because Krishna's in the heart as the super soul. And if Krishna's in the heart as the super soul, it doesn't matter where you are, he's following, he's with us. That's how much he loves us. Krishna loves us so much that no matter how much we turn away from him, he's with us. You know, he loves us so much that no matter what we try and do to stop him loving us, we can't. We haven't got the power to stop Krishna loving us. That's how much he loves us. And we've got the power to stop anyone else loving us. We have, because we could easily stop our family loving us by just doing something really cruel. You know, we could do something that would just be like, oh my God, that was too much. You know, it's like I have a sister, and if I did something to my sister, if I really upset my sister, my mom and dad will never talk to me again, you know, because she's my sister. So if I really wanted to stop my parents loving me, I know what I got to do. I know I need to upset my sister. But Krishna never stops loving us. He may cover himself from us for some time, but he'll never stop loving us. He'll never stop loving us. He'll always give us an opportunity to turn back to him. That's how much he loves us. So we're going to be tested, and we can understand that the reason we're being tested is because Krishna is giving us an opportunity for growth. So Vyasadeva, when he's seeing the absolute truth and he's seeing the external energy, he's seeing that the external energy is under the control of Krishna. He's seeing that Maya is under the control of Krishna. So he knows that actually what we need to go for, and it's said in the purport, is go beyond Brahman, go beyond Paramatma, and develop a relationship with the personality, with Bhagavan. Develop a relationship with this person, Krishna. How do you develop a relationship with Krishna? Well, we develop a relationship with Krishna by hearing about Krishna. We develop a relationship about Krishna by chanting, by talking, discuss. Krishna says that the devotees dwell in my heart who are always speaking about me and conversing about it. Shanticha Ramanticha. They get great delight by discussing about me. So this is the way to please the Lord. This is the way to please Krishna. And otherwise we'll get caught up in the material energy. And we should just be aware when the material energy is attacking us in a subtle way. Be aware of what devotees, what I'm finding really helpful in my spiritual life at the moment is becoming aware of what are my insecurities. As I'm becoming more and more aware of my insecurities, what is helping me is really then trying to overcome my insecurities. But the first thing we have to be able to do is admit to ourselves, what is my insecurity? What is it? What is it? And you might have to dig very deep. We might have to dig deep. We might have to go deep into our hearts, into our consciousness, go into our minds and dig and dig and dig and work out, where is this coming from? Where is this? Why? How is Maya attacking me? How is Maya attacking me? And when we try and see how Maya is attacking us, when we really see how the material energy is getting us, then we've got an opportunity to overcome, because we're aware. By being aware of ourselves, we can overcome the obstacle. That awareness is so important. This is all part of the process of anartha nivritti, which is getting rid of unwanted things. And and our unwanted things, we might have to dig deep to find them. So for example, something I sometimes struggle with is friendships. I'm being very honest. Sometimes I struggle with friendships. And I was thinking, why do I struggle with friendships? Why is it that if devotees are meeting with each other, I sometimes feel insecure? And then I was thinking, when I was a child and when I was at school, and I remember there were times when I was in the playground and the children would leave me out. I remember the children would leave me out. I was the youngest in the class. And the children would leave me out, and sometimes I would feel very insecure that who will I play with? You know, these people are not letting me play with them. And so this is just something I was thinking that, oh, and then what was happening, I was realizing that sometimes when one devotee would talk to another, my mind would think to myself, oh, if them two are talking, maybe that will mean they won't like me anymore. You know, I was thinking like this. But then it's not really founded on something real right now. But what happens is we bring our conditionings with us to our spiritual life. And then Maya attacks us through our conditionings. Maya attacks us through our conditionings. Why? Because Maya knows that the gross stuff isn't working. I can't tempt him with intoxication. I can't tempt him with illicit sex. I can't tempt him with gambling. I can't tempt him with meat eating. So now let me tempt him by making him think that the devotees don't like him. Let me try like this, subtle ways. And if we get sucked in, the mind, because Maya works through the mind can convince us, oh, these devotees don't like me. Now, what will be the next step? Next step, let's gossip about these devotees. Let's talk about these devotees. Let's try and bring one of the devotees down so the other devotee knows that, you know what, this guy's not a good guy. I'm the good guy. You know, you can start playing all this stuff in our head, but none of this is real. Where is it coming from? It's come from a deeper conditioning within. It's come from a place that, oh, when I was a kid, I was getting left out at school in the playground. And I've brought that with me. Then when I grew up and I was becoming a teenager, it still played out. When it still played out. And then you come into Krishna consciousness. You're an adult. I'm 40 years old and it's still there. And why is it still there? Because I haven't worked on it. I've not worked on it. But when we come to realize this is it, okay, this is where it's coming from. It's come from here. Now, what do I do with it? I overcome it by understanding that me, Kanchanabja, the adult, is not being left out here. Me, Kanchanabja, the adult, does not need to feel any insecurity. Me, Kanchanabja, the adult, knows that Krishna loves me. Me, Kanchanabja, the adult, knows that devotees getting together is wonderful. That is a place where either the mission is being expanded, it's a place where Krishna Katha is happening, and actually it's a very glorious thing when devotees are getting together and associating nicely. The only thing that's making me think that this is not good is my conditionings. But I can only understand it's my conditionings if I'm ready to introspect and if I'm ready to look within and I'm ready to go deep to understand how is the external energy personally trying to test me. How is the external energy personally trying to test me? And Vyasadeva here is seeing that Maya, the external energy, Mayam Chatad Apashrayam, Mayam Chatad Apashrayam. This Maya is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we understand this test is coming from Krishna. But it's up to us, devotees, if we want to overcome the test or if we want to succumb to the test. If we want to succumb to the test will keep coming back, the test will keep coming back, and the test will keep coming back. It takes different shapes, it takes different forms, but the test will never stop. It will never stop. But if we want to grow, if we want to make the next steps in our spiritual life, we come to a point where we understand that this test, the external energy, is testing me in this way again and again and again, because I am not taking the time to introspect, dig deep, and understand it's me. It takes a lot of courage, dear devotees. It takes a lot of courage to understand it's me. It's me. There's something within me here. It's not the other person. The other person is an agent of my growth. They can do whatever they want. It's me. The reason I'm getting disturbed is because I need to overcome this test for my spiritual growth, for me to become connected with Krishna. If my mind is disturbed, it's not the other devotee's fault. My mind is disturbed because I'm not overcoming a certain conditioning. I'm not overcoming something deep within my own heart, my own mind, that I'm not aware of. So we have to take that time to become aware. We have to take that time to become aware. And once we become aware, and how do we become aware? We think about it and we write about it. And as we write, everything comes in sight. The inner world is in sight, because it all becomes revealed. It all becomes revealed when you get a pen, you get some paper, and you write. The thing is, my dear devotees, what's happening in our life, in our spiritual life, is we tend to get so busy. We're busy with work, we're busy with kids, we're busy with parents, we're busy with this, we're busy with that. And sometimes we just keep ourselves so busy that we've got no time to introspect and to reflect. And to be honest, we're shortchanging ourselves in our spiritual life. It's a short change. It's like the father who's always at work, who never had time for the children. And then they say all these years later, oh, but I did this all for you. And the child says, thank you, Dad. I appreciate it. But you know what? I'd have preferred if you just spent time with me and we had a smaller house. I'd have preferred I didn't go to private school and you just spent some time with me. And the dad is thinking, oh my God, I did all of this for them. But actually, maybe it wasn't just for them, and it was for themselves, because they didn't want to take time to do what was necessary, which was spend time with the children, to spend time with the family. And similarly, in our Krishna consciousness, we need to spend time with ourselves. We need to have our alone time. And in our alone time, which is important, we should put it in the diary that I'm going to put it in the calendar, half an hour is just for me and some writing and reflection, or even 10 minutes a day of reflection. How is the external energy getting me today? How is it happening? And how can I overcome it? What is it? And to be honest, just by becoming aware, half the battle is won. The other half is surrendering to Krishna. Because he says, Maya mam eva ye prapadyante, by surrendering unto me, Maya metam tarantite, that one can easily cross beyond it. So Vyasadeva is seeing the personality of Godhead Krishna. He's seeing the material energy Maya with Krishna, because the external energy comes from Krishna, but it's in control. It's fully in control. Krishna is in control. And because Krishna is in control, have faith that Krishna can help us overcome whatever it is we are challenged with. This is the secret to our next phase in spiritual life, the subtle energies. Okay, so we have is it time? Okay, it's coming up to 22, so maybe we can wrap it up here. So as a summary, Vyasadeva is seeing he's meditating, he's seeing the absolute personality of Godhead, he's seeing Maya, he's seeing the material energy. Similarly, we are seeing Krishna, we are seeing Maya at the same time. We are always choosing, we're always debating, shall I do this or shall I do that? Shall I choose Krishna or shall I choose Maya? After some time, Maya will attack us subtly. When Maya attacks us subtly, we've got to have some awareness as to why things are affecting us. We understand that if anyone or if anything is disturbing our mind, is disturbing our spiritual practice, the other person is just an agent of our growth. And the more we focus on the other person or the other thing, the other situation, the less we are ready to receive the next steps for our spiritual growth. And when we are ready to accept what our conditionings are, what our insecurities are, and when we come face to face with our insecurities, come face to face with our conditionings and surrender them to the lotus feet of the Lord, then we can grow. Then we can say, Krishna, this is my insecurity. Help me. Help me. and Krishna will reward us because he reciprocates as the devotee surrenders. And surrendering means surrendering the false ego. And the false ego is the false identity. And this false identity is that I'm the enjoyer, I'm the controller, I've done nothing wrong, and everyone else is wrong. And the real identity is we are spirit soul. I'm the servant of Krishna. I'm always happy. And do you know what it means to be always happy? It means I'm always happy for others. I'm happy for those that have hurt me. Can we get there in our spiritual life? Can we be happy for those that have hurt us? If we can be happy for those that have hurt us, we are living in Vaikuntha. If we're trying to go to Vaikuntha by wanting to hurt those that have hurt us, we'll never get to Vaikuntha, because when we get to Vaikuntha, no one wants to hurt anyone. In the spiritual world, there is competition. It's said there is competition. Just like we have competition here, but the difference is when there's competition there, everyone's happy for the winner. Everyone's happy for each other. Everyone's happy for everyone else who's trying to serve Krishna better. Whereas over here, my daughter, she had a gymnastics competition. We went to the competition. There was many children, and she didn't come first, she didn't come second, and she didn't come third. And therefore, she didn't get called up. She didn't get a medal. She got a medal. Every child got a medal because you have to be at a certain level to attend the competition. So she got that medal, which all the other kids who were there got, but she didn't come in the top 3. And we were watching the performance, and then I went down, we picked her, we took her from the gate, and she looked at me, and I knew she was upset. And we walked home because we only live a few minutes away, and we opened the door, and we couldn't even take her shoes off, and she just burst out crying. And for half an hour, no one could go near her. She was crying. And this is the competition in the material world, that when there's a winner, there has to be a loser. That's the duality. But in spiritual life, the competition is there is a winner and there is a winner. The winner is who gets to serve Krishna the best, but the bigger winner is the one who can be happy for the other winner who got to serve Krishna the best. So this is spiritual life, and it just depends on us whether we want to live spiritual life or under the control of the material energy. So this is up to us. But what we can do is make a big effort to really understand where we are not successful in being happy for others, where we are not successful in wanting the growth of others, where we are not successful in constantly receiving the same test. If you're constantly receiving the same test, we need to do something different. It said trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. You do the same thing over and over again, thinking that one time will be a different result. We've got to change something. And the one thing we can change is try and think, how can it be, what have I done? What's my part in this? What could I do better? The other person may have made so many mistakes. The other person may have offended us. The other person may have hurt us. The other person may have done something wrong. But what can I do to overcome it? Why give that person the power? Why give that person the power and become powerless ourselves? We can take faith that Krishna will take care of us. We can be secure in his power. So let's not take shelter of the external energy, and let's take shelter of the Vaishnavas and the personality of Godhead, as Vyasadeva is doing in this verse. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to share some thoughts on this topic, and maybe we can have some discussion. I think there was a question in the chat. I didn't get to read it at the time, but if Shailaja would like to ask in person, that's also fine. And anyone else. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shailaja Mataji, can you please unmute and ask your question? Usually we leave the questions till the end. It would be nice if you can switch on your video and audio so Prabhuji can see you as well. And we can all see you as well.
Sorry, I'm actually making work at the moment, Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances, all please to Srila Prabhupada. So particularly about the instance that you quoted about the insecurity. I think we have a lot, at least myself, and there is some bit, it's not just about the insecurity, but I think there is so much more fear, maybe uncertainty, and worry about the future. And there is a lot worry about the presence, even though the Lord says, whoever surrenders unto me, I take care of their yoga kshema, but I think still, I don't know if it's a lack of our faith or if it's about the practicality that we think it's a reality. Maybe you need to tell us whether it's a reality or it's a Maya again. Maybe something, what if I'm just about to lose my job? Do I need to worry about the job? Do I need to look for another one? Do I need to put my efforts in actively looking for another job? Do I need to work for my marriage? Do I need to work for my kids? Do I need to work for my health issues, etc.? Or should we just think that it's all Maya and then leave it towards the Lord? That is one. Another thing is, when we have so many of these things which are anarthas that kind of distract us from the Lord. Suppose I'm chanting, there is something that comes in between to my mind that's bothering me. Is this a Maya again, or is this a real problem that we need to work on? And how do we... Another point that I was thinking
Mataji, maybe we can do one by one, because otherwise I'll forget the first one by the time. So the first one, and then maybe you can remind me the second one, because my mind is like my brain is like a fish. I forget very quickly. So the first comment you made is everything Maya. Do I need to worry? So I think, Kadamba Kanana Maharaj was giving a class recently, and he was talking about juggling 3 balls, and I really like this example. That one is we have our mental and our emotional well-being. So we need to look after our well-being. The other is we need to look after our sadhana. And the other is we need to think about what we're going to do for the mission, what we're going to do to give Krishna consciousness to others. So these are the 3 things that we need to balance generally. And within mental and emotional well-being comes our dharma. That's where we're talking about our children, our partner, our job, our security, our home, our family, our friends. This is all part of our society and our dharma. And we need to maintain all of these things so that we have got a stable emotional and mental well-being. At the same time, we need to be careful that we're not doing ugra karma. And ugra karma means we're overexerting ourselves for some unnecessary desire. So we also need to manage what is necessary, because what's really important is that we're managing our life in such a way that we can do our sadhana and we can serve the mission in the most holistic way possible. That's because that's a life of giving. The more if we over endeavor, I need a massive house, I need my children need to go to this, and then if we overdo this and the other things we cannot juggle them, because in we're just with one thing, because the other 2 are just out the window because we're over focused on one, then we're not balanced. And when we're not balanced in these 3 areas, it's hard. That's why we're in the material energy. If we're not balanced in the 3 areas, then what will happen, we'll just live an average life. And living an average life is not really desirable. We can live a blissful life. It doesn't mean we have to be a famous devotee. We just need to be a devotee. But to be a devotee isn't easy. Our whole life, to really practice Krishna consciousness sincerely, our whole life, it's not easy. So the way to try and understand this is, yes, we have a responsibility in our marriage. We have a responsibility for our children, but that responsibility goes as far as we do our best. We do our best. When it comes to our job, yes, we do our best in our job. And if a certain job, remember, a job isn't, one particular job is not the be all and end all of life. This is this is just my personal advice on this, and other devotees may say other things, which is fine, because naturally we have different ways. But my personal thinking when it comes to this is, okay, we have a certain lifestyle. How much Lakshmi do I need? And if one particular job doesn't do it, maybe I can get another job that can. But it's not that we need to over worry about losing a job, because Krishna will always provide. Krishna will always provide for us as long as we are sincere. It's just up to us how much we want to work for, how much we want to work on one ball, on this one thing, which is in one sense dharma. We can also say our dharma, our sadhana, and our seva. You can also think of it like that: my dharma, my sadhana, and my seva. And our dharma would involve our well-being. So yes, we do need to think about our well-being. We do need to think about how, if we're stable with our family, if we're stable in our job, we'll have more energy to practice sadhana and to give more to the mission. So we need to balance it. But at the same time, if you overdo it one place, you'll have to sacrifice somewhere else. And if there are times when you have to focus on your health, but then when those are happening, make sure that your sadhana and your seva, there's a minimum sadhana you're doing and a minimum seva you're doing. There are times you'll have more time to focus on your sadhana. Then again, do more sadhana, but make sure you're keeping your health at a certain level and your seva at a certain level. And there are times where there'll be a real need for you to do something big for the mission. And when that happens, make sure your sadhana is at a certain level and your health is still at a certain level. So you kept those at a minimum, but then you're pushing on one. But when you're pushing on one, don't let the other two go below a certain minimal level. I hope that makes some sense for your first question. If you're just on mute, Mataji, so if you could just unmute.
Very sorry, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you for that. If everything is going well, yes, we can certainly try our best to manage with the minimal efforts and give more time for sadhana. What in case if something is not going right, which requires more efforts from our side? It might be due to our past karma or whatever, when it requires a lot of endeavor from us. I mean, even to sustain a minimal job, to earn a livelihood. And when a person reaches to an extent when he has to put like so many hours, because that is the present condition. And I mean, even in a couple of things, right, even to maintain a minimal certainty, it requires a lot of endeavor. And I mean, I think it might be due to the past karma. So what do you go about in such instances? That gets really worrisome and it affects sadhana as well.
So can you just be a bit more specific, Mataji? I know you, I mean, it'll be public, you may not want, but just so I understand, are you talking about work or are you talking about
I mean, it can be, it varies. For me, for instance, sometimes I had a lot of issues with my job and I had to like really put a lot of time in,
right,
sustain that through that, kind of, it gave me a fear. It came up with a lot of other impacts as well. It gave me a fear, uncertainty, worry about my future, and then putting in more efforts, more time for my job, etc. And then sometimes when it comes to the married life as well, things do not go well, wherein we need to put a lot into that.
Yeah, no, this is, this is ongoing. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is ongoing. Know that you're not alone. Everyone in the Grihastha ashram has some sort of constant something to fix. But this is part of purification. And generally what we need to understand when this is happening is, what is it that I need to learn how to give? We're so often thinking, why are they doing this to me? But we can remember that nothing comes to us unless the Lord has sanctioned it. So if something is coming to us, it doesn't mean that it's always right from the other person, but for some reason, Krishna has sanctioned it, because nothing can happen unless he sanctions it. Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakhe. If someone wanted to hurt me, if Krishna wanted to hurt me, no one can protect me. But if Krishna wanted to protect me, no one can hurt me. And sometimes we'll see our life like this, that sometimes people are trying to hurt us, but nothing bothers us because Krishna's there and he's protecting. And sometimes we're doing so much to make sure we're protected in this way, that way, this way, that way, but still we're getting hurt. Why? Because Krishna's allowing it to happen. So if Krishna's allowing something to happen, that means for some reason, I need to receive this. So then we can ask ourselves two questions. One question is, what is it that Krishna wants me to learn? Try and really deeply think, what is it that Krishna wants me to learn? And then the second thing is, how does Krishna want me to react? And if we start responding to the challenges like this, we'll become Krishna conscious. And then Krishna will help us more. Try and see this not in a microscopic way, try and see it as in a macroscopic way. See the bigger picture. This is coming from Krishna. This challenge is coming not from Krishna directly, but it's sanctioned. Krishna's allowed it to happen. If he's allowed it to happen, he wants me to grow. So then I think, what does he want me to learn? How does he want me to respond? And we try and live like that. And if we live like this, and it might be hard, and at times we'll forget, but if we then keep reminding ourselves, we'll become Krishna conscious. And by becoming Krishna conscious, everything will become revealed.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. I'm going to, try these things and hopefully, yeah. Another question is particularly when you spoke about the anxieties, when Maya could not attack us through the sinful. So that is agreeable. That is trying to pull us down to a sinful platform wherein we cannot. It's hard. We will fail in the test for sure. I'm just trying to understand how does it happen with the anxiety? Like, what is the trick of the Maya? What is the concept here, and what does it mean passing the test, and what does it mean to fail? How are we supposed to behave in such instances?
Yeah, thank you. So you're saying if you're saying that if there's some sort of anxiety, how do we react to that in the right way? So
anxiety, confusion, and uncertainty. I mean, the other example that you gave me, maybe we have something presumed in our mind that, okay, this devotees may not like us. And I think we have like bundle of those in our minds.
So this is it. We have a bundle, and like you said, I think there's a bundle. But what we need to do is now go deep and think, what are they? Single them out. Look for them. Introspect. Go deep within yourself. Think, try and connect why I'm feeling like this and where is it coming from. And when we can try and connect it, then we can grow from it. But it takes work. Working on ourselves takes work, which means it takes time. And if it takes time, spend the time. And we can't keep hiding behind, and I'm going to be very open and very honest and frank, we can't keep hiding behind being busy. If we're hiding behind being busy, change our life, change the job, change whatever we need to change, because when all is said and done, the job we had is not going to take us back to Krishna. It's not going to give us Krishna consciousness. It's meant to be stabilizing so that we can practice Krishna consciousness. So if it means a change of lifestyle by a change of job, then try and do that. If it means you're going to have a less pressured lifestyle, so you get more time to really work on, so we get time to work on ourselves and engross ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Please don't take this as, oh, Kanchanabja told me to get a new job and then I tried to get a new, it's just it's an example. But the key point is, if we have a job that consumes us, then that's not good for our spiritual life. We should have a job that is sustaining us so that we can practice spiritual life, because the priority is spiritual life and the job is there to help us. It's there to engage our nature. If we have a certain nature, if you're a teacher, then teach. If you're a manager, go manage something. If you're a business person, go do some business. If you're good at serving others, do some service for others. But do something that you like doing. Work in a job that you like doing, that when you come home, you feel satisfied that you did something. And with that satisfaction, you'll be able to practice your Krishna consciousness. I spent years working in an accounting practice, and then I worked from one practice to another. I was a qualified accountant, and I went from one accounting job to another accounting job to another. And I realized and I didn't like anything. And I realized why? Because I'm not meant to be in the office. Then I started to teach accounting, and now I teach accounting. I go to work, I come back, and I'm not. My wife even says, "Oh, you don't seem like tired. You don't seem." And I am tired, but I feel satisfied because I'm doing what I'm meant to do. I'm doing what my dharma is. So find a job that's within your dharma, what you like to do. When you found a job that you like to do, you'll be able to practice your Krishna consciousness in a holistic way. Otherwise, the job is so consuming, so pressured, that we don't have the energy. And generally, because Krishna even says in the Gita, it's better to do your own dharma imperfectly than another person's duty perfectly. Why? Because if we're doing something that's not meant for us, then we're overexerting ourselves, and then we don't have the energy to practice our spiritual life. So anyway, it comes back to anxieties, confusion. Take the time, but to take the time, you need to make the time. To make the time, you need a certain lifestyle. That lifestyle includes working in a job that is suited to your nature. That way, you're not overexerting, and then you'll have the time to work on yourself and on your spiritual life. That's the summary. Hope that makes sense.
Yes, Prabhuji. So what does it mean here to pass the test? And
To
what
pass
it
the
is?
pass the test means that next time the same thing happens, you're not getting upset. The next time you're seeing those two devotees meet, it's not because you're not seeing it like that, because you'll feel it. If you're feeling despondent, upset, affected, disturbed, you're not passing the test. If you're feeling happy for others, you're passing the test.
Perfect, brilliant, brilliant, Prabhuji. I think we can apply this in all of the other, factors that also affect us, isn't it?
100%.
Very nice.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the most connecting session that we all have had. We've been learning a lot of theory, but I think it's very important for us to reflect upon, fix the glitches within us to actually come to this platform. And this has been really, really helpful. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you for your encouragement. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for clarifying the doubts. And when people ask questions, it helps us as well, because we had similar doubts and we couldn't verbalize it. But when Prabhuji explains it, we can now put it in the scenario that we are going through. Any other questions or comments? I know we have exhausted our time, but we can take one more question if there is, or a comment.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So it's not a question, but just I wanted to share something. Like you said that Maya tries everything with the devotees. Like if he's not into intoxication and all that, or not breaking the rules and all that, then she tries the other way, like why the devotees are not talking to me or talking to each other, and I'm not friend with them and all that. Yeah, so that reminds me that when we were in Kisumu, now we moved to Nairobi. We were in Kisumu and my kids were younger. We used to come to Nairobi and stay with a devotee family, because they were our friends, like we were friends. And we are Guru Bhais also. Now that time we were not initiated, but we are now from the same Guru. So even that time, I know that people in the temple or like the devotees, other devotees were not appreciating that. I mean, they didn't like that we are like getting along with the other devotees, the same devotee family, and staying with them and that all that. So that was really not acceptable by us. Like it was a little weird that why people don't like us being friends with the devotees only. Like we are staying with them and we are like trying to progress in Krishna consciousness together, spending holidays together and all that. So I think this is the thing clarifies now that why the devotees don't appreciate being friends with each other. Some devotees don't like it like that. That's what now I understand. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, everyone has their challenges, but at the same time, we can let them be with their challenges and not get sucked into their challenges and just try and overcome our own. It's very important also when we go through this, we really reflect on our own and let others deal with theirs. But yeah, we can observe it, but at the same time be detached from theirs. We've got enough to work on with our own. But yes, nice observation, Mataji, and thank you so much for sharing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of both our mentors today. Mansi Ganga Mataji is on the group, and so is Path Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji, and Prabhuji. Path Prabhuji, is it possible for you to end the session for today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Very wonderful class also. And also very nicely giving the answers of the questions. There's nothing to say more about the Kanchanabja Prabhu class. It is very practical. And it is like we feel it is our problems, like Mata is told her problem, but it is everyone's problem. and we got everyone the easy answers, we hope. So I request all the devotees, please unmute and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of His grace, Kanchanabja Prabhuji. Please join.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Vancha kalpa tarurubhyascha sindhobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yay.
His grace Kanchanabja Prabhu ki jai.
ISKCON Eldoret ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Sashwin, I like your haircut. It looks very nice. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.